Well, hello. My name is Hutch Hutchinson, and I'm with Boston University's Sargent Center for Outdoor Education in Hancock, New Hampshire. And what I'm going to do is get you guys ready for your GPS urban adventure. Now, what the urban adventure is, it's a combination of the Da Vinci Code, the Amazing Race, and the Freedom Trail, all in one. You're going to be racing through the city of Boston using one of these devices. This is a GPS global positioning system device, and it's going to help you navigate from waypoint to waypoint. A waypoint's a point of longitude and latitude. It's saved in here. All you've got to do is find yourself at each of those spots. Now, there'll be a clue sheet as well. You'll need to solve the clue in order to figure out the landmark that we want you to find. Using your camera phone, you can snap a picture, know that you've been there, solve a challenge or a puzzle, and then move on to your next waypoint. You'll have a limited amount of time to hit all these waypoints, but with strong teamwork, commitment to each other, and a sense of adventure, you too can complete this adventure.
So this is your GPS device. It's an eTrex Legend, available at EMS for, I don't know how much. But there's a lot of different features to this bad boy, but there's only 3 buttons you're going to have to worry about. The first right here, on the right-hand side in the bottom, is your power button. It's got a little, what's it got on it? It's got a little light bulb on it. Light bulb means power, I guess. Press that button and it's going to go through a bunch of different screens until it'll eventually come to this. This is the satellite screen right here. What it's telling you is how many satellites it's picking up. And there's got to be at least 3 that you can get a good strong signal from. You'll notice at the top it'll say your accuracy as well, so you'll know how accurate this whole device is as far as the number of signals that you get. Depending on where you're standing, your GPS is going to get less and less accurate. If you're next to a big tall building in Boston, you could lose a satellite and therefore lose your signal. If you're deep in the canopy of hemlock trees here at Sargent Center, you can lose it that way too. But on the other side here, there's a button with a magnifying glass. That's your Find button. So you press that, and you'll go to this Find menu. You'll notice it says Find waypoints, favorites, cities, exits, etc. The only thing you're going to have to worry about is waypoints. Now this button right here, this is your joystick. And so you can go up, down, left, right, or if you press it in, you'll select, and I want to select waypoints. Next it'll come up and ask me nearest or by name, and I'm going to want to select by name. Now it'll give me a whole list of the different waypoints. You'll have 6 waypoints loaded into your GPS just like this, and then the final waypoint, or in this case the first, is SMG. When your time is coming close to an end, you're going to want to get back home, and if you don't know how or where you are in the city of Boston, SMG will point you home. But I'm going to select here, moving down on the joystick, waypoint 5. I'm going to press in, select it, and I'm going to come to this page, which just shows me waypoint 5, the coordinates that it's at, how far away it is, and then at the bottom you have a choice of go to, map, or OK. We're going to select go to, and that's going to give us our little navigational thing. Right now it's telling me it's 1.13 miles over my left shoulder. So let's go see how this thing works.
Now, a couple things with the way a GPS works. First of all, the receiver is underneath this little picture of a globe that's right there. And so that's got to be upright. That's what's picking up your signal from your GPS. So you got to keep that upright as you're going along. There's a cool little handy put this thing around your neck kind of thing, which is great, but when you do that, it generally will spin and kind of sit like this. Doesn't get much of a signal unless you've had really bad tacos, in which case it might. But what you want to do is hold it upright. Now, a GPS is not a compass. Now, if you're used to using a compass, you'll know that the arrow always points north. Okay, and so as I turn, that arrow is still going to point north. A GPS is not like this. When you select that go-to menu, it is going to have what looks like a compass, and there's an arrow that's pointing. But what it's going to do is it's going to determine where you're standing, and then where you're standing next, and where you're standing next. So as you're moving, it'll determine where that waypoint is in relation to you. For example, if I'm standing here and I turn my GPS on, it doesn't know where I'm standing, where I'm going, and let's say I'm facing this way. and I'm trying to get to that tree. That tree is my waypoint. My arrow could be pointing this way. Now I'll start walking this way, and as I do, it figures out where I've been, where I'm going, and then the arrow will turn and point to the tree. When I turn my location, if I'm just pivoting, it's not going to move until I start walking towards the tree, and then it'll re-aim to where I'm going. That's one of the really difficult things with the GPS, because as you're turning, that arrow is not going to turn with you. If you get confused, if you're not sure, you walk in a straight line, and then it'll point to where you're headed. One of the most frustrating parts of the GPS is when you're walking down the street, and you're following that arrow, and you're going, and you stop, and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool, look at that. And then all of a sudden, your arrow is pointing this way, and so you're walking this way, and then it points this way, and you just think it's going crazy. That's just how the GPSs work. So be aware of that. Also, as you're walking along, if you go past a tall building or under a thick canopy of trees, you could lose a signal, and that arrow is going to bounce around a bit. Your waypoint isn't moving. It's not like you're going for a moving car or anything. Where you're going is still where it is. This thing's just processing it. In some cases, you may also lose a signal entirely, and it'll say weak signal, need clear view of sky. What you want to do is get to an open space where you can get a reading, and then you'll know, okay, that's where I've got to head. But you know, there's some common sense you can use with this. If this thing says you got to go a half mile that way, and you're walking this way, and all of a sudden it goes out, odds are if you keep walking that way, you'll be getting closer to it. So keep that in mind. Now I'm looking for waypoint number 5, and I'm going to see if I can find it. Seems to be pointing me that way, so let's see if we can find where we're headed.
Go.
So I've been following my GPS for a while, and it says that I'm within 30 feet of my waypoint, but you know, I can't really tell what's going on. The arrow is bouncing back and forth, and that's really because I'm so close. I'm within that accuracy range. Now, this is the point. I got to figure out what's my clue and how's it going to help me. The clue is Ice Ice Baby for waypoint number 5. And well, I'm obviously on a frozen pond. This is Half Moon Pond. There's an ice house out there. There's some ice fishermen over there. I'm on a hockey rink, but what would that clue mean? Ice Ice Baby. Ice Ice Baby. All right, so I think I found my waypoint. Is that right? Yeah? Yeah, she says I found the waypoint, so I guess I'm here. Now it's the time to open up my envelope. It'll have a challenge in there, and then the group that I'm with and I can complete the challenge before going to our next waypoint. The rest of the directions you need to know you'll get from your faculty members that are in the room right now. But, you know, from Charlotte and I up here in Hancock, New Hampshire, you know, good luck. Be safe out there. Look both ways before you cross the street, and don't get hit by a bus. Isn't that right, Charlotte? That means yes.